How hedge funds manipulate the market and your mind. You think you're in control of your trades. Think again. Hedge funds don't just move billions. They move you, your emotions, your decisions, your very perception of reality. The biggest manipulation isn't on the chart, it's in your mind. Every day, millions of traders open their platforms, convinced they're making independent choices. They've got their strategies, their indicators, their carefully crafted plans. But what if I told you the game was rigged from the start? Not through illegal means, but through something far more insidious. Psychological warfare. Meet Sarah, a passionate day trader who thought she had it all figured out. She'd spent years honing her skills, studying patterns, and developing a foolproof system. Or so she thought. Hedge funds don't just understand markets. They understand human nature on a level most of us can't comprehend. They know when you're afraid. They know when you're overconfident. And they use this knowledge as a weapon. Sarah noticed a pattern forming on her favorite stock. A classic bullish setup. Everything looked perfect. She entered the trade, confident in her analysis. But within minutes, the stock plummeted. Stop loss triggered. Account balance hit. Sarah was left wondering what went wrong. What Sarah didn't realize was that she wasn't just trading against algorithms or other retail traders. She was up against a sophisticated machine designed to exploit her very psychology. That perfect setup, Sarah saw. It was engineered, a trap set by institutional players who knew exactly how traders like her would react. They didn't move the market with size. They moved it with precision, creating the illusion of opportunity. You see, hedge funds don't need to manipulate prices directly. They manipulate something far more valuable, your perception. Think about it. How many times have you seen a stock break out, only to immediately reverse? That wasn't bad luck. That was liquidity engineering, and you were the target. They needed your stop loss to fill their position. They needed your panic to fuel their profit. But here's the real kicker. They don't move markets with brute force. They wait for your psychology to give them the perfect opportunity. You panic sell at support because you're hardwired to avoid pain. You chase green candles because FOMO is programmed into your DNA. That's not just trading. That's falling into a carefully laid trap. Let's talk about the real currency of the market. Your emotions. Fear equals liquidity. Euphoria equals exit opportunities. Doubt equals their chance to accumulate. Smart money doesn't wait for technical confirmation. They wait for emotional volume. They don't care about your RSI or your MACD. They care about the collective psychology of the masses. Remember Sarah's failed trade. While she was licking her wounds, institutional players were feasting. They used her stop loss, and thousands like it, as fuel for their position. Her pain was their gain, but it goes deeper than individual trades. Hedge funds shape narratives. They plant seeds of doubt or excitement through carefully timed leaks or analyst reports. They know that sentiment drives markets more than fundamentals ever could. Think about the last time you saw a stock soar on seemingly no news. Chances are, the move was orchestrated long before you ever saw that first green candle. By the time retail traders pile in, smart money is already planning their exit. This isn't just about making money, it's about control. By manipulating the collective psychology of the market, hedge funds can effectively steer entire sectors, even economies. But here's the thing, knowledge is power. Once you understand the game being played, you can start to see through the illusions. Sarah learned this lesson the hard way, but she didn't give up. She started studying market psychology, learning to recognize the telltale signs of manipulation. She stopped chasing breakouts and started looking for the traps. Slowly but surely, her trading improved. Not because she found some magic indicator, but because she understood the true nature of the market. So, what can you do to protect yourself in this psychological battlefield? First, recognize that your emotions are your biggest liability. Fear and greed are not your friends. They're tools used against you by those with deeper pockets and longer time horizons. Second, stop looking for sure things. The market doesn't give away free money. If a setup looks too perfect, it probably is. Learn to be skeptical, especially when everything seems to align. Third, zoom out. Don't get caught up in the minute-by-minute noise. Hedge funds play the long game. They're setting traps that may take weeks or months to fully play out. Fourth, educate yourself on market psychology. Learn about common cognitive biases that affect traders. Understanding these can help you recognize when you're being manipulated. Finally, remember that patience is your greatest weapon. The market will always be there. You don't have to catch every move. Sometimes, the best trade is no trade at all. The truth is, the market isn't fair. It never has been. But that doesn't mean you can't succeed. It just means you need to understand the real rules of the game. Hedge funds will always have more resources, more information, and more influence than the average trader. But they can't control your mind if you don't let them. So the next time you're about to enter a trade, ask yourself, am I making this decision based on sound analysis, or am I reacting to engineered emotions? Am I seeing the market as it is, or as they want me to see it? Remember, the biggest battles in trading aren't won on charts. They're won in your mind. Master your psychology, and you'll have taken the first step towards true market mastery. The game may be rigged, but that doesn't mean you can't win. You just need to learn the real rules, and use them to your advantage. So, are you ready to see beyond the illusion? Are you prepared to trade, not just with your eyes, but with your mind? The choice is yours. But remember, in the world of trading, ignorance isn't bliss. It's expensive. Open your eyes. See the game for what it really is. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find yourself on the right side of the trade more often than not. The market is a battlefield of minds. Arm yourself with knowledge, shield yourself with discipline, and you might just survive and thrive in the psychological warfare that is modern trading.